He grew up on a farm, watching his dad, trapped by life his whole life. Over time, that life wore Carl down too. He stopped wanting school, just watched his dad work the fields every day. He wanted to help, but he was told no. His dad didn't have much education, but still worked himself to the bone to send him to school, because he didn't want his son to repeat his life. Years passed. Carl grew up. His father decided to send him into the military, to find a bigger world. Before he left, his dad kept telling him the same thing: push yourself, never give up. That's when Carl finally understood. His dad didn't want to live through him. He just wanted him to keep his head up. Before leaving, his dad gave him the only thing in the house that mattered: a radio, with one sentence engraved on it. Carl didn't fully understand it, but he kept it with him anyway. Life in the military was brutal. Because of his skin color, he was only assigned to the kitchen. There were only two options for black soldiers: cook, or leave. Everyone else accepted it, but Carl didn't. He knew, only by facing reality could he change it. So while others followed the rules, he challenged them. He got locked up for 2 weeks, but eventually made it onto deck duty. On his first day, something went wrong. A helicopter crashed into the sea. That's when he saw divers for the first time. They were the ones who saved people underwater, the most respected men on the ship, because everyone knew they risked their lives every time. Carl watched closely, and decided that's what he wanted to become. Afterward, he went to the captain. He said he wanted to be a diver. To everyone else, that was impossible. The captain said no, but Carl's determination moved him, so he agreed to write a recommendation. For the next 2 years, Carl sent out hundreds of applications, rejected every time, but he never stopped. Finally, a school gave him a chance, but reality hit harder. At the gate, he was stopped, because he was black. He wasn't even allowed inside. Just then, an instructor showed up. He was the best diver there, but he didn't believe in Carl at all, mocking him the moment they met. Carl knew this path would be hard, but he wouldn't back down. The moment he entered the school, it wasn't welcome. It was hostility. Everyone stared at him coldly, but not everyone. One stuttering teammate showed him kindness. With his help, Carl made it to the dorm, but right after introductions, people protested. They refused to share a room with him, and walked out. One by one, everyone left, until only the two of them remained, because of his stutter. That guy was also isolated. Same situation. They slowly became friends, but that night, Carl was targeted. Ice water dumped on him while he slept, then blasted with high-pressure hoses, then forced underwater training drills. It looked like training, but it was really pressure to make him quit. He endured it all, even when he was about to suffocate. He never gave in. The next day, during evaluation, the instructors targeted his friend, humiliated him, and pushed him to the edge. They strapped heavy weights on him, and sent him underwater. If he let go, he would die. He held on for a long time, but the instructor never stopped. Carl realized this was aimed at him. He begged them to stop, but it was too late. His friend was eliminated. Their friendship was torn apart. Carl didn't complain. He knew only strength could fight this. In the next test, they were blindfolded, assembling equipment, while others were still feeling around. Carl was already done. The instructors were shocked, but stayed silent. He was strong in practice, but weak in theory. He scored too low. One more failure, and he would be kicked out. So every weekend, he stayed in the library, studying like crazy. That's where he met a girl. He asked for tutoring. She refused at first, but then he said one sentence that changed her mind. He simply refused to lose. If others said it was impossible, he would still try. Slowly, she was moved by his persistence, and started helping him. His grades finally passed. Everything looked like it was improving, but the real challenge had just begun. During an underwater training, two teammates got into trouble. Their gear jammed, and they were sinking. Emergency situation. The instructor was about to go down himself, but Carl stepped forward, because the instructor had already been injured before. Going down again could kill him. The instructor looked at him, and agreed. Carl dove alone. Just as he started the rescue, the ship began sinking too. Pressure underwater increased rapidly. Worse, one teammate panicked, and swam away, abandoning the other. Carl stayed calm. He switched oxygen, controlled his breathing, and kept steady. He saved them both. But the next day, the medal went to the man who ran away. Everyone knew the truth, but no one spoke. No one stood up for him. Only the rescued man looked at him with gratitude, and just like that, it was over. Like nothing happened. Carl understood clearly. This system wasn't fair. Later, he tried to call home, but got the news. His father had died. He completely broke down. He went to a bar, trying to drink, but he wasn't even allowed to buy alcohol, because he was black. People around him started mocking him. All the pressure exploded at once. He snapped. He stood up, and challenged the instructor. A breath-holding contest. If Carl lost, he would leave. If he won, his friend would be reinstated. The instructor laughed it off. He was the record holder. No one had ever beaten him, but he still agreed. Everyone watched. Both of them went underwater. Time started. At first, both were steady. Neither moved. Minutes passed. It became a battle of will. The instructor started weakening. Carl stayed solid. Eventually, the instructor reached his limit and had to be pulled out. Carl won. That moment, he didn't just win the match, he won respect. That night, the instructor went to command, trying to help him graduate, but higher-ups refused. No matter how good he was, they wouldn't let him pass. Carl returned to his room. The instructor was waiting. He told Carl not to take the final exam, not because he looked down on him, but because he didn't want him destroyed. Carl refused. They argued. Emotions exploded. In the chaos, the instructor smashed the radio his father left him. Only after seeing the photo inside did he realize he went too far, but it was already too late. The next day, Carl still showed up. Everyone was watching, because they knew he wasn't here to try, he was here to survive. The final test began. Go underwater. Install the equipment. No time limit. But the water was freezing, inhumanly cold. Everyone dove in. When it was Carl's turn, someone signaled from afar. His gear had been tampered with. The moment he entered the water, all his parts scattered, sinking to the bottom. Others were already assembling. He was still searching. Time passed. Some finished. Some came up. But Carl was still down there. 3 hours. He didn't stop. Others were done. He was just starting. The water got colder. His body started shaking. He could barely hold the tools, but he kept going, searching, building, refusing to stop. Hours passed. Night fell. 9 hours underwater, nearly frozen. The instructor couldn't take it anymore and tried to bring him up, but the order was clear. No rescue, unless he was dead. The instructor hesitated, then disobeyed. They pulled him up. And at that moment, the rope suddenly tightened. The equipment was finished. Carl succeeded. When they pulled him out, he was barely conscious, but his eyes were still sharp. Score came out. Perfect completion. 9 hours 31 minutes. No one spoke. Everyone understood. This was beyond human limits. Graduation day. Carl returned to his bunk. The radio was fixed, with a new message engraved on it, reminding him who he was. He smiled, finally at peace. His old friend who was eliminated also returned. Things were getting better. Years later, Carl became a top-tier diver, on a major mission, recovering a nuclear weapon underwater. He searched for a long time. No trace. Then a submarine appeared. He tried to hide, but his oxygen line got hooked. He was dragged underwater, almost killed. He barely escaped, but the explosion of movement revealed the bomb's location. The mission was completed, but during recovery, the cable snapped. Another accident. When he woke up, he was in the hospital. He survived, but lost his leg. His dream was over. Everyone called him a hero, offered him retirement, asked what he wanted. He said only one thing: go back and become a diver again. Denied. Without hesitation, he cut off his damaged leg and trained again. With one leg, he would walk the same path again. Painful training, a broken body, constant falls, but he never stopped. The instructor returned. He had been watching everything. He knew they were trying to push Carl out, so he stepped in again, used his connections, made it public, forced a re-evaluation. 4 weeks were given. Time was tight. Training got harsher. Carl endured everything. Finally, evaluation day came. The test was simple. Put on an extremely heavy diving suit, stand up alone, and walk 12 steps. Even healthy people struggled. Carl had one leg. Still, he went. No help, no backing, just himself. The weight crushed him. Step 1, barely made it. Step 2, shaking. Step 3, pain everywhere. Step by step. At step 8, his prosthetic started cracking. Everyone heard it. He was breaking. Someone wanted to stop it, but the instructor shouted, "Let him continue." Carl gritted his teeth. Step 9, Step 10, Step 11, final step. He finished all 12. Silence. He took off his helmet. Sweat everywhere. Maybe tears too. Result announced. Reinstated active duty. He won. Completely. 2 years later, he became Chief Petty Officer. And for many years after, he remained the Navy's strongest diver. This story is real. He wasn't born strong. He just never bowed down.